are situated on the top of the thyroid gland, okay? They're attached to the thyroid gland. So if you remove the thyroid gland, what will happen? These glands also can be injured, okay? So this is an important gland, okay, for our body. Now, what does parathyroid gland do? Parathyroid gland, I'm sorry, maintains the calcium level in the blood. Okay, it maintains the calcium blood in the blood level in the blood. Why? Because if there's too much calcium in the blood, it's going to create problem. Low level is also going to create problem. Why? Because we need calcium for nervous and muscular systems. Okay, so since we require calcium for both the nervous system and also muscular system, so the amount of calcium in the blood is very important. So with the help of PTH or parathormone, this amount is balanced. Okay, the amount of calcium is balanced in the blood. See, in the blood, okay, if the level of calcium is decreased, okay, there are some receptors in the parathyroid gland. These receptors are activated, okay? I'm sorry. These receptors are activated. Once these receptors are activated, okay, what happens? The hormone, the PTH, is produced. Now, PTH acts on three parts, okay, on the bones, on the kidney, and on the intestine. Okay, so I repeat again. Why do we need calcium? We need calcium for better function of nervous and muscular system. Okay, now if the level of calcium is decreased in the blood, what happens? Quickly, the receptors which are there on parathyroid gland are activated. Okay, PTH is produced. PTH acts on bones, on kidney, and on intestine. Is this clear? Okay, fine. Now what happens? Okay. Now what happens? On bones, what happens? Osteoclasts are activated. You know what are osteoclasts? They are the cells which eat the bone. Okay, so osteoclast is activated. What happens? All the calcium will be released in the blood. Okay, so the level of calcium is raised. In the kidneys, okay, the excretion of calcium is decreased. Calcium is reabsorbed. Okay, so the level of calcium is raised in the blood. Okay, now in the intestine, parathyroid PTH causes synthesis of vitamin D. Okay, so vitamin D is synthesized. What does vitamin D do? Vitamin D produces some receptors in the intestine. Okay, so receptors are there. When calcium is going by, they trap calcium, and calcium is absorption is increased. Okay, so first in bone, activation of osteoclasts, kidney, absorption, increasing the reabsorption of calcium, and in intestine, synthesis of vitamin D. Is it clear? So vitamin D, what does vitamin D do? Absorbs the calcium, whatever is there in the intestine. So the level of calcium is raised in the blood. Okay? Now, okay, if the amount of PTH is low in the blood, this is known as hypoparathyroidism. Hypoparathyroidism. Okay. Usually, what happens? Usually, when we have hypo in the glands are damaged. For example, they're removing the thyroid gland, they remove this also together. Okay, so the gland goes out. Okay, so remove more gland, especially in thyroid surgery. Okay, and if there's no PTH, the PTH is decreased, the amount of calcium in blood is decreased. Okay, so the level of calcium in blood is also decreased. So low levels of calcium is seen in the blood. Okay, now as I said before, what does PTH do? Activation of osteoclasts, okay, in the bone. What about kidneys? reabsorption of calcium, okay, in the intestine.
Increases
Synthesis
vitamin
of vitamin D, okay? So this way there's an increase in the amount of PTH. Okay. Now, the amount of calcium, in the blood. Now, see, the PTH or parrot hormone acts with another hormone which is known as calcitonin. They work together. How? If the calcium level is too high in the blood, calcitonin decreases the amount of calcium in the blood. Okay, so they work together to balance the amount of calcium in the blood. Is it clear? Now, what does calcitonin do? Calcitonin, for example, it inhibits the activity of osteoclasts. So, we said PTH activates osteoclasts. Calcitonin inhibits the activity of osteoclasts. So calcium does not go in the blood. Okay? Calcium does not go in the blood. Also, it causes an increase in the excretion of calcium from the body. So body is excreted from the body. Calcium is excreted from the body. How? From the kidneys. Okay? So calcium is excreted from the body, okay, to the kidneys. Therefore, the level of calcium is decreased in the blood. So then remember, PTH causes an increase in the amount of calcium in blood. Calcitonin decreases. How? It inhibits the activity of osteoclasts and causes the excretion of calcium from the kidney, yes, in the urine. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Does it also affect the intestines?
Sorry?
Calcitonin.
Calcitonin, it doesn't have much effect on the intestine, mostly on kidneys and also the lungs. Okay? Okay, let's go to sex hormones.
You don't have to do pancreas?
No, you don't need. No need. Okay. Next is sex hormones. Okay. Now this is the male and also female. Oh, thank you so much. This is the male and female reproductive organ. This is the female and this is the male reproductive system. Okay. First we'll start with female. Okay, female reproductive system. Now, in case of female reproductive system, we have ovaries. Okay, ovaries are there. And there are two hormones, which is estrogen and the other one is progesterone. Remember, both of them are steroid hormones. Both of them are steroid hormones. Now, estrogen is a steroid. It is important in development of breast. You know, actually what happens is very important in puberty, okay? It causes the person to grow and a female to become an adult, okay? So, development of breast, uterus, vagina, broadening of pelvis, growth of hair in the body, okay, pubic hair and auxiliary hair. Also increasing the adipose tissue, like deposition of fats, for example, deposition of fats. Okay, and also it can participate, okay, in preventing preparation of the body for pregnancy, and also it can participate if pregnancy occurs. Okay, if pregnancy occurs. Next hormone is progesterone. Progesterone also is a female hormone. Okay, and it doesn't have anything to do with sex or reproduction, but it is important. I'm sorry. But it is important, okay? It has an important role in menstrual cycle as well as pregnancy, okay? So progesterone has an important role in menstrual cycle and also in pregnancy. Okay, now let's say how these hormones are regulated. For example, if I want to talk, if I start from hypothalamus produces GnRH. Gonadotropin releasing hormone. Okay, GnRH acts on the pituitary gland for synthesis of FSH. What does FSH? Follicle stimulating hormone. Okay, FSH causes synthesis of estrogen. Okay, progesterone is also female sex hormone. Again, let's go to hypothalamus. We've got GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone. GnRH acts as a pituitary gland for production of LH, or luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone causes the synthesis of corpus luteum, which we'll see how does this happen, okay, in later slides. And corpus luteum can synthesize progesterone. Okay, let's go to menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle is actually a cycle which is the period is 28 days. Okay, it's 28 days. Like we start from day 1st to 28 or 1 month. Okay, this way we are going to discuss about it. So every 28 days, that means 28 days is over now. Okay, what happens? The uterus, okay, it's full of blood vessels. Okay, the endometrium, it starts breaking down. Okay, endometrium breaks down and bleeding starts. Okay, there's a discharge of blood which comes out. So as this happening, okay, during this time, that means I'm talking about the first 28 days is over, day 1 has started. Okay, the bleeding has started. Okay, now a new follicle will start to develop. So a new follicle starts developing. Okay, and when menstruation ceases, that means about 5 to 7 days after menstruation ceases, then what happens? This follicle will continue to develop, and it will start producing large amounts of estrogen. So estrogen is produced. Okay. Now what happens? Again, estrogen, as estrogen is rising, the endometrium again starts being developed. Okay? So again, large number of the inside of the endometrium, large amounts of blood vessels is being produced. Okay, actually what happens? It prepares the body for pregnancy. Okay, so large number of blood vessels. Okay, is supplied over there, and during this time, LH is also rising. What is LH? Luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone is rising. Okay, so luteinizing is rising. After 2 weeks, there's a sharp peak, which is like a surge. We call it a surge. Okay, large, it goes right up. At this time, what happens? This follicle ruptures, ovulation happens. Okay, so ovulation occurs. So there's a sudden surge, okay, of LH, and what happens? Ovulation happens. Okay, so ovulation has occurred. Now, after this, what happens? Whatever is left is known as corpus luteum. Okay, whatever is left is, that means the follicle, the ruptured follicle. Okay, ovulation has happened. Whatever is left is known as corpus luteum. Now, this under the influence of LH, what happens? This corpus luteum synthesizes progesterone. Okay, so progesterone is synthesized by corpus luteum. Okay, under the influence of LH. Under the influence of LH. Okay, now what happens? Why this happens? Okay, because one thing, this progesterone which is produced, okay, it prepares the endometrium for pregnancy. Okay, it does not let, okay, the uterus to be contracted, so it stops contraction. Okay, so it inhibits contraction, and also it does not let a new follicle to be produced, to be synthesized. Is it clear? So, as I said before, I repeat once again. So as I said, once menstruation ceases, okay, after 5 to 7 days, what happens? A new follicle starts being developed. 2 weeks after that, the LH is raised, okay, there's a surge, and then ovulation happens. What is left? Corpus luteum. What does corpus luteum produce? Progesterone, under the influence of LH. Why is it produced? Why? To inhibit contraction of the uterus and also development of a new follicle. Is it clear? Okay, great. Now, if fertilization does not occur, that is the woman is not pregnant. Okay, if the woman is not pregnant, then what will happen? Large amounts of progesterone will inhibit GnRH. Okay, progesterone will inhibit GnRH right from the hypothalamus level. What happens all of a sudden? This corpus luteum slowly degenerates, it is destroyed. Okay, there's no progesterone, then what will happen? Contraction will start. Okay, contraction will start. So contraction is there, and then bleeding will start, and menstruation happens. Menstruation happens. Okay, now suppose pregnancy occurs. Okay, if pregnancy occurs, the egg which is produced, okay, the egg which is produced, it passes down through the fallopian tube. Okay, it goes slowly, goes and starts dividing. Okay, starts dividing, division, and then after 1 week, by 1 week, this embryo, okay, is known as blastocyst. Okay, this blastocyst will go and slowly goes in the endometrium, okay, and implantation occurs. Okay, so it goes and sticks to the inside the endometrium because it wants to live. Okay, it wants to become big and big and big like a baby. Okay, it wants to become a baby. Now the inner mass becomes the baby. Outer mass is trophoblast. Trophoblast goes for synthesis of umbilical placenta and umbilical cord. Okay? Okay. Do you have any questions here? No? Okay. Now, see. First few weeks, LH is taking care of the baby. But after some time, when the umbilical cord is produced, okay, what happens? HCG is produced. HCG takes part, okay, and remember, usually 1 week after pregnancy and when the baby implantation occurs, okay, the level of beta HCG is raised in the blood, so you can easily come to know that whether the person is pregnant or not with blood tests, okay? The amount of HCG is raised. So HCG plays a very important role for taking care of the baby, okay, throughout the pregnancy. Okay, let's go to male hormones. Do you have any question about female body? No? I mean sex hormones? No? Okay. Now, the principal hormone, male hormone is androgens, okay? Remember, androgens go for synthesis of testosterone, very important, okay? Androgen, which is a testosterone. Now, this is produced by some cells which is known as Leydig cells, okay? And remember, testosterone is important for production of sperm, okay? For sperm production is important, also for sex, like growth of beard, okay? Like sex characteristics, okay, in male. It's very important for sex characteristics in male. That is growth of gray beard and also growth of sex organs. Okay, let's go to hypothalamus. Hypothalamus produces GnRH. GnRH acts on the pituitary gland. Pituitary gland causes synthesis of LH. LH acts on testes for synthesis of testosterone. Testosterone goes for synthesis of sperm. Okay? Okay. There are 6 hormones for male reproductive system. One of them is GnRH. GnRH at the hypothalamus level causes synthesis of FSH and LH. Let's see what FSH do. FSH, it is produced by the pituitary gland. It causes the production of sperm. Okay, so synthesis of sperm is under the influence of FSH. Then we have luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone LH causes the synthesis of testosterone. Causes the synthesis of testosterone. Next is okay. We have androsterone. Androsterone. This is androsterone. We have synthesis of androsterone, like androgens from adrenal gland as well. So we have androgen produced both in female and male body. Okay, both in both bodies you can see them. Okay, it is less effective than testosterone, and it is synthesized also by the testes and also adrenal gland, both of them together. So we have testosterone. Testosterone stimulates secondary sex characteristics in male, Also spermatogenesis, that's the synthesis of sperm, and also sex drive. And next is inhibin. Inhibin is a molecule which is very necessary, and remember, inhibin inhibits FSH. Very important. Inhibin inhibits FSH. Very, very important. Okay? Okay, that's all. This is the last slide. Okay? Yes, finished. Do you have any questions? No? Take care, I love you. If you have any questions? No?